Good afternoon, everybody. This is Steve Fletcher with the Trumpet for My People. I hope everyone is doing well today. And December 22nd, 2020, we have entered into winter and we have gone past the Great Conjunction. And just been thinking about a lot of different things here and what could be the understanding we are lacking. What do we need to see? And I just want to put together a few thoughts today, share some things with you guys. And I have not been able to get onto Twitch on live stream because my internet's really low here. And so I found another avenue here to be able to uh, do my video offline and then upload it. So here I am on Rumble, and this is probably going to be a good option to have a backup channel just in case I get blocked off of YouTube again. Once I'm back on YouTube, I'll be able to share this information so everybody can have my information about my backup channel here on rumble.com. So we've been watching all the signs leading up to Hanukkah, December 14th, 7-day warning to the Great Conjunction, the beginning of winter. We saw how it all lined up with the total solar eclipse, the two great American eclipses, and the middle day on that. It ended up being the same day as the Electoral College, and that came forth. And Donald Trump is out, and Joe Biden has been officially confirmed as the next president. And the other thing we saw on December 14th was the first vaccinations that took place in the United States, exactly on December 14th. Then we saw, leading up to the Great Conjunction, how that was connecting to the first vaccinations in Israel, even as the Sabbath was ending on December 19th, and then the main public began receiving vaccinations on December 20th. So connecting us to the flight not in winter nor on the Sabbath, and we have the abomination that's taking place uh, exactly there in that middle point in between the Sabbath and the winter. Okay, so we are watching now. The next thing we are seeing is one of the things that was connecting us to December 14th was 1,290 days from Israel's 70th Pentecost. June 4th and June 5th was Israel's 70th Pentecost, and it was also a 50-year marker from the Six-Day War, the retaking of Jerusalem from June 5th, 1967. So we have a double confirmation of a 50 and a 70-year marker and Israel's 70th Pentecost. This was connecting us to December 14th, 2020. But the other thing we need to understand, and I believe that this is going to be a key piece of information, is that the rapture is connected to a 1260-day timeline, just as the reign of the Antichrist is also connected to a 1260-day timeline. We see in Revelation 12:6, woman taken into the wilderness for 1260 days. And Revelation 12:14 confirms that the woman is given wings to fly away for time, times, and half a time. It's 3.5 years or 1260 days. Then we see in Revelation 13:5 power given to the beast to continue for 42 months. So we have the confirmation that when the rapture occurs, there is going to remain a 3.5 year period, 1,260 days. Also translated time times and half a time and 42 months. So both the rapture and the time of the Antichrist are connected to 1,260 days. Now, when we were watching the 1260 days connected to the winter solstice, that was taking us to June 4th, 2024, which is the 27th day of the second month, the day the flood ended in the book of Genesis. But once we go past December 21st, we do not have a 1260-day connection any longer on just any given day. So the next 1260-day connection we would need to consider could very well be Pentecost of 2024. Now, if we are connecting the end of the 70 years, which was June 4th, 2017, which is also the 70th Pentecost of Israel. If we're connecting the end of the 70 years to the beginning of the final 7 years, maybe we need to connect the end of the 7 years, the end of the Great Tribulation, and the return of Jesus Christ to the 77th Pentecost of Israel. So if we are looking at the 77th Pentecost of Israel, which turns out to be June 12th, the 6th of Sivan, first day of Pentecost on the Hebrew calendar, June 12th, 2024. So from Israel's 70th Pentecost, we add 7 years to Israel's 77th Pentecost, and it brings us to June 12th, 2024. Now from here, if we are looking at a time frame of 1260 days that needs to be connected to both the rapture and the beginning of the Great Tribulation, somehow understanding 1260 days connecting us to the return of Jesus Christ at the end of the 1260 days, then we need to find a day that could mark the return of Jesus Christ at the second coming, at the end of the Great Tribulation. Now, could that be connected to Pentecost? Okay. Now, if it's not connected to Pentecost, then if we end up looking past Pentecost, then we would end up looking at uh, the Feast of Trumpets in 2024, and going back 1260 days from there would take us to Passover in 2021. Okay, but we do not want to consider yet Passover 2021 as the timing of the rapture. What we want to do is we want to look as soon as we can the next possible option. So if we go from June 12th, okay, 2024, and we want to connect the 1260 days, which is the timing given to the woman in the book of Revelation. It's also the timing given to the Antichrist for the reign of the Antichrist. He was given power to continue for 42 months. So if we go from Israel's 77th Pentecost, June 12th, 2024, and we go back 1260 days, then we arrive at December 30th, 2020. Okay. Now another key time frame within the book of Revelation and also in the book of Daniel is the 1290 days as shown in Daniel 12:11. From the time that the daily sacrifice shall be taken away and the abomination that maketh desolate shall be set up, there shall be 1290 days. So we have a 1290-day period given from the time of the abomination and a 1260-day period given from the time of the rapture. Now, if we're going back 1260 days from Israel's 77th Pentecost, that brings us to December 30th, 2020. Now let's go back 1290 days because Daniel says that after the abomination there shall be 1290 days. So if we go back 30 days more from December 30th, it brings us to November 30th. Now, we were watching November 30th because it was a lunar eclipse. Lunar eclipse, a penumbral lunar eclipse, plus this was a 15-day cycle to the total solar eclipse that happened on December 14th. So these two eclipses go together. And what we see is that exactly with the lunar eclipse that was taking place, the first mass air shipment of Pfizer's COVID vaccine arrives as airlines prepare for more. So we see that the shipping of the Pfizer vaccinations began worldwide on November 30th. The vaccinations did not take place yet, but we have the abomination being set up. And I think this is very significant that when we watch time frames, we need to understand lunar and solar eclipses. We need to understand feast days. We need to understand number of days, like the 1260 days and the 1290 days. Okay. But we also need to understand events that take place that could mark a very significant point as the beginning of the abomination. And so November 30th, 2020 lines up with an abomination being set up, connecting us by 30 days to December 30th, and connecting us by 1260 days more to Israel's 77th Pentecost. Okay? So, if we are looking at the possibility of December 30th for rapture of the Church of Jesus Christ, we have to consider all of these things. How is this all connected? First of all, we have 1260 days to Israel's 77th Pentecost. So 77th Pentecost is significant because when it says in the book of Daniel, 70 weeks are determined, we have the 70 weeks and then we have a 7-year period going from Pentecost to Pentecost, 2017 to 2024. So we have a 7-year period. We have a midweek abomination that is taking place with the arrival and the beginning of the distribution and the vaccinations worldwide. We have a 30-day connection from December 30th. We have another 30 days. If we add to that or subtract 30 days from December 30th, it brings us to November 30th. And we have this abomination being set up together with this lunar eclipse, fulfilling then the 1290 days of Daniel uh, in Daniel 12:11. So December 30th, 2020, we have a 1260-day connection to Israel's 77th Pentecost. We have a 1290-day connection from the beginning of the abomination being set up to Israel's 77th Pentecost. We see the 70 weeks of Daniel fulfilled, bringing us to the 70th Pentecost of Israel as the beginning of the final 7 years. We have a 7-year period with a midweek abomination. And last but not least, we have the fulfillment of 2020 as the year of deliverance fulfilled. 2020 in Strong's Hebrew Concordance is deliverance. And 2021 in the Strong's Hebrew Concordance means weapon of war. Okay? And so, will we still be here in the year 2021? Were these the final signs that the Lord was giving us from Hanukkah to the Great Conjunction to the beginning and the distribution of the vaccinations to the return of Barack Obama through the confirmed election of Joe Biden? Okay, the vaccinations that began in Israel exactly on December 20th, flight not in winter nor on the Sabbath. There's this window of time there, and Israel began their vaccinations there. And now we have a 1260-day connection that we must have that will connect the rapture and the reign of the Antichrist. Okay, so would this be like our last option within the year of 2020? And that's what we are trying to, understand as we're searching out all of these things. So, I'm not making any dogmatic statements, as I did not make any dogmatic statements about December 14th through the 21st. I consistently said we do not know if this is absolutely the rapture of the church. It sure looks like it. The signs are so true and pure, and so there's so many. But at the same time, we have to wait and see what is going to be happening. But we do know that once the rapture of the church happens and the reign of the Antichrist begins, both of those are given a 1260-day timeline. So I think we need to be able to see a connection within the Hebrew calendar where the rapture might take place based on the end of the 1260 days. So could the 77th Pentecost of Israel mark the second coming return of Jesus Christ? That is the question. If that is possible, which I believe that anytime we have a feast day, especially a feast day where the Holy Spirit came, it's such an amazing marker from the time of the Exodus and then the day of Pentecost and the birth of the church. Okay, could this also mark the return of Jesus Christ? So we have a 1260-day connection that is coming up on December 30th. This is what I wanted to share with you guys. So we're watching right now, and we're watching through Christmas, and there's a lot of connections that people are making to Christmas. And but if we're looking at a 1260-day connection, uh, somehow connected to the Hebrew calendar, then we may need to go beyond Christmas just a little bit. So I see December 30th, maybe December 30, December 31st as a possible timing for the rapture event. And this would fulfill, like I said, 2020. What will happen if we go past December 30, December 31st, and we enter in to 2021? What was the meaning of 2020 in the Strong's Hebrew Concordance being deliverance? What was the meaning of that? And what are the meanings of all these other things that need to be fulfilled and kind of have a connection to the 70 years of Israel, to the 1260 days, the 1290 days, a midweek abomination, all of these things we need to be able to understand. So, this is what I wanted to share with you guys. And I hope I'm able to get the word out here on Rumble. And then in a few days' time, when I'm back on YouTube, I'll be able to upload this on my YouTube channel and get connected again with everybody. So I pray you guys are blessed. This is Steve Fletcher, a trumpet for my people, the sign of his coming revealed.